And Dante's journey through Sicily is a real favourite. We begin in Palermo with the Normans and their riotously coloured, lively biblical scenes in churches and cathedrals. Tiny tesserae of glass were used to make the pictures, many with a thin layer of gold leaf sandwiched in clear glass which would have gleamed and glittered as the light moved. We are lucky enough to have special private access to the exquisite Cappella Palatina after the crowds have gone home, which is a truly moving experience. 1500 years earlier, the Greeks had also built mighty temples to their gods, and these too would have been decorated with painted or sculpted mythological scenes. Although these are now mellow monuments of local limestone, they too were once a riot of colour against a background of white plaster which once covered the stone. The carved panels from Selinunte displayed in Palermo Museum were instrumental in understanding this use of colour, as traces of pigment were noticed by the 19th century English excavators. Palermo Museum also houses some rare anthropomorphic Phoenician coffins. The love of the flamboyant continued and reached a peak in the late 17th century Baroque style of architecture, much used when lots of rebuilding was necessary, especially in the east of Sicily, after a terrible earthquake. There's something very special about islands. Rather than a barrier, the sea surrounding them was the great highway of the ancients, making it much easier to carry goods and ideas over long distances than it would have been by land. The islands were the stepping stones where cultures met and intermingled, sparking rivalry, innovations, and competitive, ambitious building programs to impress both humans and their gods. Sicily, right at the heart of the Mediterranean, is the most striking example of this phenomenon. Her agricultural fertility, furnished by Mount Etna and its minerals, provided great wealth for the settlers, so that they were also able to build themselves lavish villas and pleasure palaces, to feed themselves and their guests well. We will endeavour to do the same for you. All meals with wine are included in the tour price, and the menus will be chosen to give you a real taste of authentic Sicilian cuisine. Over the centuries, Phoenicians, Greeks, Romans, Arabs and Normans all came, saw, conquered, and, best of all, built to last, leaving us temples, villas, theatres and glittering cathedrals to explore and admire. And Dante has had the pleasure of showing probably thousands of people the glories of Sicily over the past 20 years or so. We'd be delighted if you would join us and see them for yourself.